What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. All right, we've shown you the 2020 schedule for the Auburn Tigers. Now let's take a look at their projected record based off of this schedule. And this kind of shows you the strength of the schedule and their odds to win each game. I want to be clear, this is not an official prediction from me. This is just a projected record based off of the percentages that you're about to see that I give Auburn to win each game based off of what these teams have coming back, recent experience in past years, things like that. So let's get into it. And here's our scale. Green will be 99%, a game that Auburn should, it will be a major upset if they were to lose. 80% would be a very big surprise if they lost that game. These are games where the spread's double digits. 60%, a game where Auburn's favored, but they could definitely lose. A game where the spread would be more like 6, 7, 8 points, something like that. And then you kind of flip that around for the 40 and 20% and 1% games. And then you have the 50% games. These are simply games that I could really see going either way. I don't really favor one team by much, maybe a little bit, but definitely games that I could see going either way. So we'll start with the 99% games. These are games that Auburn should absolutely win and have no trouble in. Alcorn State. Southern Miss, might be more like 95%, but still they should be able to win that game. And UMass as well on the schedule. So you've got 3 gimmies, 3 easy wins. Again, Southern Miss is not a guaranteed win. They're a pretty decent group of 5 team, but Auburn should be able to take care of business in that game. So now we go down the list and we go to the 80% games, the games that Auburn should be able to win. It wouldn't be too crazy, but the only game I have there for Auburn is Arkansas. They've got them at home. They've had Arkansas's number now for the last several years. Arkansas still kind of trying to figure themselves out with a new head coach. It is an SEC game. It's definitely not a 99% type game for Auburn, but it's one that is, as long as they bring their A game, they should win that game, and probably will win it by double digits. I would expect the spread for that one to be 10 to 14 points, somewhere in there. And if Arkansas struggles really bad this year like they did last year, it could be even more than that. Let's move on to the games where I give Auburn roughly a 60% chance to win. And these percentages are not exactly what I would put, but we have to kind of just pick from a few different categories here. So Ole Miss is a game that I would favor Auburn in, but I would not feel real confident in. Again, spread for these types of games around a touchdown. I think that would be the case here. That's going to be a tough game early in the season as well for Auburn. So don't count that one as a guaranteed win by any means. Kentucky, I think, will be a tough matchup for Auburn as well. That offensive line for Kentucky looks to be one of the top in the SEC. They'll be solid on defense, run game, kind of similar to Minnesota. And we saw what Minnesota did to Auburn last year. So that's why I worry a little bit about that game. And then you got Mississippi State on the road. You got the Cowbells. What will they look like with Mike Leach? Auburn should be the better team, but at this point, we just don't know for sure how good Mississippi State's going to be. Very tough to figure out a team like that. Don't even know for sure who their starting quarterback is going to be. So I guess Auburn the advantage there, but I don't think it's a huge advantage. And then we also have games where Auburn is an underdog, in my opinion, going to be an underdog. That's Georgia and Alabama. They play on the road at Georgia, and they play on the road at Alabama. Both of these games, I think Auburn is capable of potentially pulling off an upset, but I think it would be a decent upset. Again, these are games where I think Georgia and Alabama are going to be 7-8 point favorites. The games are on the road, going to be very tough for Auburn to win them. And, you might even would lower Auburn's chances to win these games to more like 30% or 35%, because I think they're going to be pretty big underdogs in both of these games. But it's a rivalry. You never know what you're going to get, and I would at least give them a shot to maybe pull off an upset in one of those 2 games. They've really struggled in Athens and in Tuscaloosa the last few years. It would go a long way if they were able to pull off one of those wins on the road. So now we move on to the 50-50 games, the games that really probably are going to determine the season for Auburn. Let's say they win all the games they're favored in and then lose to Georgia and Alabama. If you win out, you're 10-2. That is a really, really good year. If you lose these 3 games, you're 7-5. So that's how different it could go. I do believe North Carolina is a 50-50 game. This is going to be a really good team. I had them in my way too early top 25 poll. Sam Howell is back. They return a lot of production. Both sides of the ball. This is going to be a really tough challenge for Auburn in Atlanta. It's one that I could see going either way. I would favor Auburn just barely, but it's a 50-50 game in my opinion. Texas A&M, I think, is a 50-50 game. Could really see that one going either way. That's going to be a big game for both teams. That could be the swing game that determines really how their season goes. And then LSU, they lost a lot, and the game is at Jordan-Hare. I probably would favor Auburn by just a little bit right now, but how good's LSU going to be? I mean, are they going to be able to replace all those pieces? That's a tough call right there. So again, it's a 50-50 game in my opinion. But you add all these numbers up and divide it out. The projected record for Auburn is 8-4. So that projection is saying they're going to split the 50-50 games. They're going to win 60% of the 60% games, if that makes sense. And you add all those up and average it out, and you get an 8-4 projected record for Auburn. So one game worse than they did last year. If they lose to Georgia and Alabama, and then let's say they pick up 2 of these 3 50-50 games, they're probably going to slip up somewhere else. There's someone else on the schedule might get them. So I could definitely see 8-4. I haven't, again, made an official prediction. I would guess that I'm going to be between 8-4 and 9-3. But our projection based off of, again, the odds to win each game does come out to 8-4 for the Auburn Tigers in 2020.
Thank you for watching this video. If you're an SEC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in SEC football, keep it right here.